We've gone over all the media types. We've shown you how to insert a picture, a QuickTime, a sound, and a file, and shown you how references work and how to go ahead and resize the objects. But there's one more type of insert of media that's not available from browse mode. If we go into layout mode, you can still insert a picture. So if we choose this, we can go ahead and insert, let's say, our logo. So I'll go down and get that. Click open. And you can see it puts it right into layout mode. Now it's a little too big, and if we try to resize it from here, you'll notice that we'll probably distort it. So I'm going to undo that. What we want to do here is go into our inspector and come down here and say maintain original proportions with that checked. And now when we resize it, you have no choice but making it the right size. We can put it right over here. Looks pretty good. Now if you've made it so that you can see how these anchors go a little bit farther than the actual graphic, that's because we just need to resize a little bit this way. Then it'll look like it's just on the corners there perfectly. And so if you go back to browse mode now, you'll see that this is on every single record because it's in layout mode. So it's a nice thing to have. It's kind of like putting text on there. You can put a logo or any kind of graphic, that you want. In fact, you can make this a button if you wanted to. You can make anything a button. So you have a lot of capability by putting something into layout mode rather than into browse mode. So don't forget that. If you need something to go into every record, well, why not do it in layout mode rather than in browse mode? Now we also have some other insert items we're going to show you how to use. So we're going to create a new record, and we're clicked into the company field. That's fine. We're going to delete this later anyhow. We have a bunch of other types of insertions. We've already gone over index, and if we choose here, remember that shows you all the values that are in that field, and you have the individual words and all that stuff. That's for your making your finds quick. We'll also have from last visited record. We also covered that. That copies from the last record that you were clicked into the current one. It's kind of like a duplicate. So we won't go over those again, but let's try each one of these. We have current date. If we choose that, it puts the current date in there, even into a text field if you want. It doesn't have to be a date field. And it gets that information from your system software. So if your system software is not set up correctly, it doesn't have the right date or time, then you're not going to get the right information in here. But it's interesting that if we go down here and put it in the date of birth, we can't do the time, right? We can do the date, but we can't do the time. But if we come back up here, we can insert the time here. A text field can take any type of data, but it's going to be in time format. It's not going to be treated in a text field as it was time. You can't look at it as terms of hours, minutes, and seconds, or a date if it's in a text field as month, day, and year. It has to be in a date or time field for it to take on those attributes. It'll still go into a text field, but it won't behave the same. So don't forget that. And then if we come down here and we insert current username, that puts in my name. Now where did it get that from? Well, if we go into preferences, and remember under the Windows operating systems under the edit menu, and we look under this first option, we have username. Now in Windows you won't have other, but you will get from your system software, will grab whatever your username is for file sharing or whatever you've named that, and usually that's done during the initial setup of your computer. If you want to change on the Macintosh, and this is really just to prove a point, and I'll change it to just John Osborne, you'll see that this is actually getting the username here. So we'll go in here and insert that. And that's where that username actually comes from. Now, we also went ahead in Manage Database and did our housekeeping fields. Remember our count create and count mod? Well, they were inserting the account name. That is a security or a credentials thing. We haven't gone over security at this point, so you may not completely understand this, but this is different. What we actually just looked at right now is the name. So if you chose to auto-enter the creation name, it would grab the username from your operating system, or if you're on the Macintosh and you changed it right from preferences. That's why this is not a good option to choose name, because then you're tracking the computer and not the person. What if somebody goes to another computer and they log on? What's going to happen if you use the name is that information from that computer is going to go on there, not what they logged on with. And this is what they're going to log on with, their account name. So that's why I'm recommending that you use this. Just want to make that clearer here. So try fiddling around with all these things. We're actually going to delete this record. But try fiddling around, because that's what really helps with retention. I say this over and over again, and people call me up and say, well, I asked, did you actually build the solution? They say no. Well, that's maybe why you're having trouble. If you actually build it, you're going to get a lot better retention, and you'll try different things. You'll say, what if I did this? I can't show you everything in these tutorials. There's a lot of them. There's almost 50 hours. But you still have to go ahead and try things out for yourself and try different combinations, because in FileMaker you can combine so many features together. There are literally endless numbers of combinations. So just try things out.